Gaza. We can do unnamed. You can be live in Gaza.
I'll jump on Greta Van Thorsten or whatever that girl. She's sailing there, like whoever that. And I hope they hit a missile on her boat.
Well, I hope
they hit a missile.
You know, by the way, this is part of a larger crash out from Dave Portnoy related to this issue. He recently also said that it should be illegal for Americans to not just criticize Israel, but to make any jokes about Jews or Jewish people, which again is crazy considering the faction of the right wing or the sort
like
of
this is his whole shit is being like politically incorrect. Like that's how he built his whole brand. Do these people not hear themselves? It's so crazy to me. Like that level of sheer lack of self-awareness and hypocrisy, it truly does blow my mind. And then the psychopathy of calling for this boat to be blown up. You have Lindsey Graham. Oh, I hope Greta and her friends can swim. Like, it's so sick.
The vanguard will be there, sir.
But I did want to get your reaction to, the seizing of the ship carrying, formula, food, medicine for the people of Gaza, obviously most famously carrying Greta Thunberg. And we've got nice gems like Dave Portnoy calling for Greta Thunberg to be hit by an Israeli missile, then says it should be illegal to make violent jokes about Jews in the same podcast. And you've got slightly less disturbing Piers Morgan saying, "Oh, shut up, Greta Thunberg, you attention-seeking narcissist. What's an insult to the actual hostages in Gaza who were really kidnapped? This is a stupid stunt all about your ego and will make zero difference to the plight of innocent Palestinians caught up in this dreadful war."
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so are you surprised at all that even the people like Piers Morgan who pretend to be allies of Palestine will immediately fall in line to run cover for like Hasbro propaganda and all that shit?
No. Yeah. I mean, let's be clear about Piers. Like, I actually think it does matter that he has turned pro-Palestine and like rakes these Israeli officials across the coals, because unfortunately he is talented. He is good at what he does. And I think it is a sort of like, he's got a tabloid sensibility. And so when someone like that turns, I think that is noteworthy and significant in terms of the sort of battle for public opinion. But listen, I mean, with regard to what happened here specifically, we were able to talk to the spokesperson for this, the Madeleine Gaza Aid Freedom Flotilla. And I didn't realize this going into the interview. She had been on the aid flotilla that was attacked in 2010 and 10 people murdered on board that ship. She was on that ship and she's still involved with the project. Now, she wasn't on this particular ship. She's serving as a spokesperson. She's also a human rights lawyer. And so it's when Greta uses the language and others use the language kidnapping or abduction, I don't know what else you call it, because they were in international waters. The Israelis have no authority to board this ship as effectively pirates and, yes, arrest/abduct and kidnap these activists into their prison cells. And see, there was reporting that they're like forcing them to watch October 7th footage to try to like re-educate them and putting them in solitary confinement. I mean, it is, and it's such a testament to Israel's absolute rogue lawlessness that, some people have a sense of relief that, well, at least they didn't murder them this time. I mean, that's where we're at, is that they're that level of deranged. On a hopeful note, the woman that we talked to this morning, who's the spokesperson, she said they're going to continue to organize. They're going to organize new ships because, the amount of aid that was on the Madeleine obviously was, a small amount compared to the need. But the key is to break the siege, to break the blockade. And so they're going to continue trying. There are other global efforts. There's 2 other land-based efforts to also go to Egypt, to walk to the border, to demand entry, to try to break the siege that way. And, those are the sorts of efforts we have to invest our attention and our energy into, because obviously, like, the world leaders they're not coming to anyone's rescue. It's not happening. So the dock workers in France who refuse to load ammunition, like, we need more of that. We need more of these types of actions to try to break the back of this siege and this blockade and this genocide, because no one else is coming to the rescue. I don't even know what to say about it at this point.
Yeah, it's just hard to imagine this coming out of the mouth of someone and being directed at, say the roles were reversed, right? And they're discussing like a boat that's leaving Tel Aviv to go, do some Israeli propaganda, and a billionaire comes out and says this. We would hear news cycles about it for months.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Gaza, we can do unnamed. You can be live in Gaza.
I'll jump on Greta Van Thorsten or whatever that girl. She's sailing there, like whoever that fucking. I hope they hit a fucking like a missile on her boat.
Well, I hope they.
By the way, this is part
Jesus
of a
Christ.
larger crash out from Dave Portnoy related to this issue. He recently also said that it should be illegal for Americans to not just criticize Israel, but to make any jokes about Jews or Jewish people, which again is crazy considering the faction of the right wing or the sort
like
of
this is his whole shit is being like politically incorrect. Like that's how he built his whole brand. Do these people not hear themselves? It's so crazy to me. Like that level of sheer lack of self-awareness and hypocrisy, it truly does blow my mind. And then the psychopathy of calling for this boat to be blown up. You have Lindsey Graham. Oh, I hope Greta and her friends can swim. Like, it's so sick. And then meanwhile, they're passing resolutions in the House that say that Free Palestine is anti-Semitic. Claiming from the rally chants about from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's a genocidal chant. And yet this kind of rhetoric, actively calling people to be murdered, is just normalized. Or Randy Fine, member of Congress, saying that Gaza should be nuked. It's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable, the levels of hypocrisy and, disgusting, like racist, bigoted commentary, because that's what it really all comes down to, is people not actually believing that Palestinians are human beings the way that you and I are human beings. That's the only way that you can have this kind of response and have it be widely accepted.
Yeah. I mean, again, even if you support Israel and stuff, there are literal human beings starving to death. To look at the actions of what Greta and the other members of this flotilla were engaged with, to view it as anything other than just a straight up humanitarian effort that should be applauded and celebrated.
Why do they hate her so much? Like, what is it about her? They just there is something so visceral there. Isn't it? Peter Thiel thinks she's the Antichrist. I mean, it's one of these figures that they just have this like unhinged. You don't talk about derangement syndrome. There is some serious Greta derangement syndrome out there that I just really don't understand.
Well, it's funny too, because about a year ago, we actually were roasting Jimmy Dore for doing a video about Greta, implying that she was a product of the World Economic Forum and that the ruling class created her to spread the myth of climate change so that they could control us with fear. That was his whole point. He literally had a video and a thumbnail that says, Greta Thunberg proves that she's a creation of the World Economic Forum or the ruling elite. Right. And it's like, now you fast forward literally a year later, and she's doing the most heroic possible shit, taking the name she built for herself and using it for literally the best cause imaginable, displaying courage and bravery that I can't even come to terms with. I mean, she really is. I mean, not just her, the other people on that boat too. I think there was a member of the European Parliament or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Something. Yep. So, just so heroic. Honestly, it made me cry just thinking about seeing those photos of them on the boat. It's like no one gives a fuck about what's happening. Thank God at least someone with a profile is doing something.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, it is truly courageous because we know Israel has murdered members, activists on these flotillas before. Like, that is not an idle threat. When I'm sure you guys were watching the clips come out of the quadcopters are circling and now they're dropping these substances on the boat and now they're jamming communications. It was like, literally imagine being on that ship. Like anything was, you can't put anything past these psychos. Think about the things that they embrace, the things that they brag about, the things that they announce publicly that they want to do. They're in the grip of an absolute genocidal frenzy. And so, she genuinely risked her life on behalf of, people that she doesn't know out of principle. So all of the people out there who just thought she was some, NGO creation, or she was just out there and she was this sort of corporate friendly spokesperson in on a grift, or I don't know, whatever the theories were about her. I think that has Like that has all been thoroughly disproven by the fact that she used her platform and position to undertake a genuinely, personally risky and courageous action, the likes of which, you know, most of these Dave Portnoy and these other people will never do and will never understand.
Yeah, totally disgraceful. I can't imagine, you know, having any other analysis of the situation than that. Again, we're talking about someone who's literally trying to deliver food and medicine to a starved population. It's heroic by every single, you know, analysis that I could come up with. But yeah, fuck Dave Portnoy. I couldn't believe that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The